السلام عليكم. Welcome back to another episode of Quran Weekly, where we read the Quran in Arabic but discuss it in English. My name is Ahmed, and on the call with me I have Captain Imad. Say hi, Captain Imad.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be with you guys.
And we're going to jump back into the Quran, where we take a look where we picked up. We were in Surah Al-A'raf, verse 65. Before we begin, we must always make the disclaimer that we are not scholars in the Arabic language, nor are scholars in the religious studies of Quran. We are merely undergoing a journey to discover the Quran and share it with you. So if you have different perspectives on what is being said, please feel free to share your comments below. The more that we discuss with each other, the better that our understanding will be. And the point of this is to learn about the Quran, and because we have a love for it. And as usual, we begin with أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, which means I seek refuge from God from the devil, and in the name of God, who's most merciful and whose mercy is most encompassing. Over to you, Captain.
Okay, verse 65. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإلى عاد أخاهم هودا قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره أفلا تتقون. Ad is a tribe, one of the ancient tribes. أخاهم Hud, he's one of them. It's like he's calling him his brother Hud. Hud is another messenger of God.
Are they both? Is Ad not a messenger?
Ad is a tribe.
Yeah, but is it like not the people of Ad, like the descendants of Ad? Is it not a person, or is it just the family? Because the way that I understood it was إلى عاد أخاهم Hud, which means to Ad and their brother Hud, or to the people of. Even the translation it says to the people of Ad, but I'm just, yeah.
People of Ad, it could be a reference. It has to be a reference to some man. Everybody is all tribes are. They refer their name back to the great grandfather of the tribe. So maybe Ad is the name of a guy.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that, honestly.
But here,
anyway, to Ad,
yeah. No, I was just saying. But now they're just saying that they're sent. The Hud is the person that they have sent to the people of Ad.
Exactly. Hud is another messenger of God. Now, he revealed the same message that Noah has given to his people. قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره أفلا تتقون. My people, worship God. You don't have another God but Him. Wouldn't you be
mindful,
obedient?
أفلا تتقون.
Mindful.
Yeah,
okay.
afraid.
So it's the same message. It is the same message. All messengers of God has came from the same one single message. There is only but one God. He has no family, no daughters, no sons, no nothing, no relatives. And if you believe in God and you do good, you're going to heavens. You'll be all right. You don't fear. You will be a winner in the doomsday. It's the same message. All messengers of God has came up with this message.
Yep.
Which we, the Arabs, call Muslimin. And a Muslim, I have surrendered to God.
But let's.
Everybody and anybody who believes in one God is a Muslim.
Sure. Let's not get into that discussion for now. For now, we know that Hud was sent to the people of Ad, and he told them to worship God and do not worship anyone other than Him. So that will you not be mindful? Will you not fear Him? Next. Bless you.
Now there is thank you. there is a word we need to stop here for a moment. وإلى عاد أخاهم هودا قال يا قومي. My people. What is my people? What's your people? Who's your people? This is where nationality comes from. The Arab nation, the English nation, the Dutch nation, the French nation. Where does this qawm comes from? It always is referred to in Arabic, that is the people of your father. If your father is originally from Scandinavia, your people are Scandinavians. Even if you are living in Netherlands and working in England, it doesn't matter.
So
the word qawman, ya qawm, ya.
I live in the Netherlands, but I'm from the Middle East. Can I not tell the people of the Netherlands my people?
No, although you are, I think you are national. I'm a Dutch citizen. Netherlands.
I'm a Dutch citizen. But I'm from the Middle East. Can I not tell the people of the Netherlands my people? No. Although you are, I think you are national. Yeah. I'm a Dutch citizen.
Yeah.
I'm a Dutch citizen.
Netherlands. You are a Dutch citizen, but the Dutch people are not your people. Your people are your ancestors.
Are you
And there
sure?
is a very yes, because there are all messages of God. God has sent them to their own people, except two of them, Jesus and Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon them. Jesus doesn't have his own people. He doesn't have a father. He was born from Saint Mary, alayhi salam. So he wasn't sent to his people. He was sent to the Jews. But you can't say that the Jews are his people.
You can argue he was sent to the world.
No, that's Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salam.
Also Jesus. I don't like
Prophet Muhammad was.
Yes, Jesus was technically in the time of the Jews, but his messages weren't limited to the Jewish people. His messages were applicable to all humans, and there are Christians all over the world that are considered Jesus' people because they follow his teachings, you know?
All messages of God has come to earth with one single message.
Sure, we agree.
Worship God, do good, and you'll be all right. That's all. This is the only message that God has sent his messengers with. However, when he says here, إلى عاد أخاهم هودا قال يا قومي, my people, his instructions was to reveal the message to his own people.
Sure.
He didn't order him to spread the word for the entire population of earth.
Sure. But for instance,
now Jesus, if I may continue,
yeah.
Jesus is not Jewish. People would say he's Jewish. He's not Jewish. He doesn't have a tribe. He can say I belong to this tribe or I belong to these people because he doesn't have a father. He has a mother. He was created from a mother, not from a father, without a father.
Okay.
So it's not his own people. His message, as you said, is universal.
Yeah. I kind of want to.
But he wasn't sent to the Jew.
I want to bring us back to the verses.
Okay.
I understand your perspective. I don't see it reflected in the verses in front of us. So let's try and stick to what's being said. But it's a fair point to think about moving forward. What does my people mean? But for now.
Okay.
Next. Yeah.
قال الملأ الذين كفروا من قومه إنا لنراك في سفاهة وإنا لنظنك من الكاذبين. The majority of his people who have denounced the message, they said to him, we see you as an insignificant guy and we believe that you're a liar. They didn't believe that he's a messenger of God.
Yeah, they think he's a fool and he's a liar. Clear. And then it's the chiefs. Al-Mala means chiefs of the people, right?
Mala is the majority of the people.
Oh, okay. So here it's...
Al-Mala is
the English translation here is showing chiefs, but Mala means to make full, if I understand.
Mala معناها when you fill a huge area with people.
Yeah.
That's a Mala. That's the majority. That's where the Mal wa Mala comes from.
Yeah. I agree with you.
So it means the majority of his people.
Yeah. And if I translate it into Google Translate, it says the assembly, which means the majority, rather than the chiefs. Mm-hmm. So it's possible that some of the tafasir and hadith explained it as the chiefs, but I agree with your conclusion that it's the majority of the people from their people said, we see you as a foolish man and we think that you're a liar. Clear.
طبعا. قال يا قوم ليس بي سفاهة ولكني رسول من رب العالمين. I am not foolish. I'm not stupid. I am a messenger from God.
Yeah.
Clear. Questions?
No. I'm not foolish. I'm a messenger of
next.
God. Yep.
أبلغكم رسالات ربي.
I think I've lost you. Are you there?
I am blessing you and affect you.
Okay, so I lost.
And I am advised. Clear?
I lost you for a few seconds. Can you repeat? وأنا لكم ناصح أمين.
وأنا لكم ناصح أمين. I am a truthful advisor,
Yeah.
and I am honest
Yeah.
by telling you I am the messenger of God. I'm not lying to you guys.
Clear.
Next.
Next.
أوعجبتم أن جاءكم ذكر من ربكم على رجل منكم لينذركم. The same verse with Noah before. Exactly the same.
Yeah.
لينذركم واذكروا إذ جعلكم خلفاء من بعد قوم نوح وزادكم في الخلق بسطة فاذكروا آلاء الله لعلكم تفلحون. Guys, were you surprised that one of you has been chosen as a messenger from God to reveal his message to you, to warn you of the doomsday and the things that are going to happen to you if you don't believe, you don't do good? And remember, guys, people of Noah, you became the successors of this Noah people, and God has given you an extra dimension in creation. Apparently, they are taller, stronger, more mightier than people of Noah. وزادكم في الخلق بسطة. In your creation, he gave you even more bodily sizes.
It could be bodily sizes, but here they also translate it to increased you greatly in stature. So their value is increased rather than their size is increased. You know what I mean?
The word basta from basata, from expanding.
Yeah, so
he gave you an expansion in creation.
So it could be a physical expansion, or it could be a metaphorical expansion, is what I'm saying.
It's possible. Yes, I can't argue on that. It's possible. This is plausible. That is plausible. The same. فاذكروا آلاء الله لعلكم تفلحون. Mention God's blessings.
Bounties.
Maybe that will help you do good.
To be successful. Yeah.
To be successful.
Clear.
Next. قالوا أجئتنا لنعبد الله وحده ونذر ما كان يعبد آباؤنا فأتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من الصادقين. Hey man, you came here to ask us to worship one God instead of so many gods our people, our ancestors have worshipped before. Is this what you're doing? You want us to worship one God instead of the many our fathers, our ancestors did? So if that's the case, فأتنا بما تعدنا, bring whatever you're promising to us. إن كنت من الصادقين, if you are telling the truth. So not only they have denounced the message, they have challenged him to bring them dooms. If you were honest, if you were a messenger of God, bring us dooms.
What you threaten us with, what you have promised us.
Yep.
Which is a torment of the days after. And we've seen this time and time again in the Quran, that the promise of the day after will only be fulfilled at a certain time, and that faith has to come before the time. And when it comes to the time, it's too late. Next.
تمام. قال قد وقع عليكم من ربكم رجس وغضب أتجادلونني في أسماء سميتموها أنتم وآباؤكم ما نزل الله بها من سلطان فانتظروا إني معكم من المنتظرين. Hud said, already have defilement and anger fallen upon you from your Lord. Do you dispute with me concerning just names, mere names you have made up and your fathers have made up, for which Allah has not sent down any prior authority? Then wait. Indeed, I am with you among those who wait.
Yeah. So this is exactly the promise that they were asking him to bring to them. He's saying, I'm also waiting for the promise. Don't argue in terms of names that you have made up or your fathers have made up. I'm waiting with you. I'm not waiting with you.
Next.
Clear. Next.
فأنجيناه والذين معه برحمة منا وقطعنا دابر الذين كذبوا بآياتنا وما كانوا مؤمنين. أنجيناه والذين معه, we saved him and people who has believed in him, believed in God as well, believed in his message.
And this was similar to what Noah was done. Noah also, we had the same phrase. We saved him and those that were with him.
Exactly. وقطعنا دابر الذين كذبوا بآياتنا. قطعنا دابر. We have cut their
Roots.
roots. People who will come after them. يعني هلا in this time and age there is nobody who can say that we are from Ad, tribe of Ad. ما في عندهم ما في عندهم breed, children or grandchildren.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So they cut off at the roots. So there's nobody from Ad anymore. Are you there? Hello? So we cut off their roots, those who have denied our signs, and they were not of the believers. I'm merely talking because I can't hear Captain Ahmad, and I'm hoping that he can reconnect any second now. But if not, then I think we're going to take a quick break until Okay, alright, give me a second and we'll work some studio magic. And we're back. Just had a few technical difficulties. Which verse were we just reading?
We just finished 72, verse 72.
72, sorry, yeah, that would actually kind of... so we saved him and those who were with him by mercy from us, and we cut off the roots, so they have no more people, for the ones who denied our signs, and they were not believers. Yep, so there are no more people of Ad that we see in front of us. Clear.
Okay, next. وإلى ثمود أخاهم صالحا. Now again, Thamud is the name of a tribe or people, group of people if you like. وإلى ثمود أخاهم صالحا قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره قد جاءتكم بينة من ربكم هذه ناقة الله لكم آية فذروها تأكل في أرض الله ولا تمسوها بسوء فيأخذكم عذاب أليم. Thamud, the people of Thamud, I think they lived in the Arabian Peninsula. I think in a place called Al-Ahqaf, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on this one. I might be wrong.
Sure.
God has sent Salih, another messenger. His name is Salih, which means he's good. The word Salih means good.
Good, yeah, person who does good.
Good person. قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله. Same message. My people worship God. You don't have another God but Him. The evidence has been coming to you from your God. هذه ناقة الله. There is a female camel. He has given you this camel, female camel, as a sign, as a miracle.
Yeah.
Let it eat in God's land wherever she wants. ولا تمسوها بسوء فيأخذكم عذاب أليم. Don't ever hurt it, because if you do, you're gonna be tortured really badly.
So you'll be tortured. Tormented.
Now this verse is strange. Why would God tell Thamud that there is a female camel? Leave her alone. Let her eat whatever she wants, and don't hurt it. And because if you do, you're gonna be tortured. That was a test from God to Thamud people, to Saleh. It's a test, because if you don't believe in this one, you're gonna see what's gonna happen to you. If you don't follow the rules of the messenger, you're gonna see what happens to you. Now there are stories I have read in the tafsir, ancient tafsir book, that this female camel was actually created from stone. They saw it. All the people of Thamud have seen it coming out of the mountain, out of the chunk of rock. I don't know where did this explanation come from, but I remember the story. I'm not sure if it is true or not.
Okay, but all we know is that there was a female camel, and God, through Saleh, asked the people of Thamud, do not harm it, otherwise you will suffer a torment that is painful.
And again, the same reminder.
Wait, before we get into it, this reminds me of a children's book that was written in Arabic by a wonderful artist. It's called النعام السحرية, which means the magical ostrich. The magical ostrich had the character of Saleh, a good man in it, and a magical ostrich that the people weren't supposed to be mean to. So if you ever want to check out the children's book, I would highly recommend checking out A Wonder Within, which is an Instagram page that has this children's book for kids.
It's a beautiful story. I read it.
Yeah. But yes, what comes next?
Next is the same reminder. واذكروا إذ جعلكم خلفاء من بعد عاد وبوأكم في الأرض تتخذون من سهولها قصورا وتنحتون الجبال بيوتا فاذكروا آلاء الله ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين. Remember, you guys, God has given you ancestors of Ad, and He has given you authority over the land. You would build your own castles on the plains of the land, and you are carving from the mountains houses. فاذكروا آلاء الله. Mention God's blessings that He given to you. ولا تعثوا في الأرض مفسدين. Don't be wrongdoing on planet Earth. However, this verse, Ahmad, has made me think maybe he was talking about Nabateans who lived in Petra, Jordan.
That's the first thing.
Jordan.
That's the first thing that came to my mind, because Petra is essentially a city carved out of the mountain, and that's the first thing that comes to my mind as what this possibly means. You carve palaces, you carve out of the mountains as homes. I mean, Petra is the first thing that comes to mind.
Thamud should have, I think it must have been in Petra, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I could be wrong.
Potentially, I don't know. It's quite some time ago, but clear. Yeah, you and I had the same image.
Okay. قال الملأ الذين استكبروا من قومه للذين استضعفوا لمن آمن منهم أتعلمون أن صالحا مرسل من ربه قالوا إنا بما أرسل به مؤمنون. The majority of the people who were the cream of the crop of the tribe, the rich and wealthy and powerful, they turn around to the people who were insignificant in the tribe, those who don't have money or power or authority over anything, normal, regular, poor people. They ask them, to those who has believed in Saleh, do you really know that Saleh is the messenger of God? And their answer was, إِنَّا بِمَا أُرْسِلَ بِهِ مُؤْمِنُونَ. We do believe in his message. We actually do believe in his message.
You tend to see this as a running theme, even in Christianity, and Jesus was talking about it, how the kingdom of heaven is for the poor, and it kind of seems to be the poor, the oppressed. They tend to see and understand. They tend to have the quickest reach to heaven, I think, for some reason. And there seems to be like a counterbalance. Like the richer you are, the more difficult it is for you to believe.
It is the same message all over, all along time, all along history. God sends messengers asking people to believe in Him and do good deeds, and some believe and some don't. And those who don't believe because they think they are powerful, rich, and untouchable.
Yeah.
They don't care about messages of God. They don't care about doomsday. They care about here and now.
Yeah.
Next. قال الذين استكبروا إنا بالذي آمنتم به كافرون. You actually believe that Saleh is a messenger of God? And they said, yes, we do actually believe in Saleh or in his message. But the rich and wealthy and powerful said, well, okay, whatever you believe in, we don't believe in.
We actively disbelieve. Yeah, we reject.
Disbelieve.
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, this is sad.
What?
I just read the verse, and I know what's going to happen to the she camel, the female camel.
Okay. فعقروا الناقة وعتوا عن أمر ربهم وقالوا يا صالح ائتنا بما تعدنا إن كنت من المرسلين. Because they were non-believers, they have slaughtered the camel and disagreed and refused God's order. And then not only that, they challenged Saleh. Well, you said if we do touch her, if we kill the camel, you're going to put us in a dear tragedy and pain, torment.
Yeah.
Bring whatever you promised us if you were a real messenger of God. So they not only they disbelieved, they wanted the torture. They asked for the torture Saleh warned them from.
Yeah.
Next verse says فأخذتهم الرجفة فأصبحوا في ديارهم جاثمين. The earthquake took them all of a sudden. They ended up dead in their own homes.
This reminds me of a verse that we had done in one of the previous episodes most recently, is that God is swift in punishment.
Exactly.
When it comes time to it, God is not messing around.
Yeah, exactly. Because they have challenged Saleh about it. Saleh told them, this camel has to leave her alone. Let her eat whatever she wants. Because if you don't, God is going to punish you severely. And then they said, really? Okay, so we're going to kill her. Show us what you can do. And then they were all vanished.
Yeah.
Next. ولوطا إذ قال لقومه.
No, we missed one.
Okay, sorry. فتولى عنهم وقال يا قوم لقد أبلغتكم رسالة ربي ونصحت لكم ولكن لا تحبون الناصحين. Oh my people, I have given you the message of God and I have advised you, but you don't like those who will advise you to do the right thing.
You don't like the advisors. Yeah.
You don't like advisors.
And what a shame you must have felt at that point. I mean, as a messenger, knowing that your people haven't listened to the message, it's hard not to feel guilt about it. But I mean, the whole Quran mentions that messengers need not worry about whether people will convert or not, but they should just worry about sending the message over. But still, it can't feel good as a messenger to have people disbelieve what you're saying.
I would think he would be sad.
Yeah.
That his people didn't believe him.
Very sad.
Not guilty, because he did what he was supposed to do.
I know, but like, we humans have a sense of, like, even when you know that, for instance, I recently had to part ways with my job, and even though I know that it's good for me and it's what God wants and it's the right path, you still feel like, I wish I could have done something differently, even though it went exactly the way it's supposed to go. Everything is perfect the way that it is, but it's just, you have this sense of a human, like, it is sorrow. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
ولوطا إذ قال لقومه أتأتون الفاحشة ما سبقكم بها من أحد من العالمين.
Okay.
Lot
yeah,
told his people أتأتون الفاحشة. What is فاحشة? كلمة فاحشة comes from the 3-letter verb فحش أو فحش, which is the horrendous
immoral act.
crime, immoral or the worst thing you can do. It's worse than lying, than stealing, than I don't know what. It's a huge sin, not just any sin. ما سبقكم بها من أحد من العالمين. Nobody before you has done that before. Nobody ever. You were the first people who are doing this sin.
So there are a couple of things we have to say about this. First of all, when the phrase of Lut is mentioned, then we know that this is referring to the people of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Absolutely.
So we know that. And here comes like the big controversy is, what does fahisha mean? What does the immorality mean? Some scholars and people who believe have simplified it to mean homosexuality. However, the way that I see this verse, it says you've committed an immorality that has not preceded you of it anyone in this world. So for me, the gravity and the level of sin that they have committed, I don't think homosexuality is of the same concept. I don't think that it was not done before them, because there's been recorded, let's not get into technicalities, but homosexuality has been seen before these times and after these times. And then the way that it's described here is that it's something so immoral and so horrible and so heinous. And in other verses of the Quran, we understand that they, for instance, cross the boundaries of consent. We're more about raping, we're more about pillaging, we're more about denial of rights, we're more about coveting your neighbor's wife and your husband, for example. So it feels like it's so much more than just homosexuality, but I understand how certain scholars have reached the conclusion.
I hear you. I hear you. However, the next verse actually tells us exactly what is fahisha he's talking about.
Okay, let's look at the next verse.
The next verse is إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة من دون النساء بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. So this is the sin he's talking about, the grave sin that both people has done.
So
إنكم لتأتون الرجال شهوة. You are lusting men without women.
So I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
Is it fine if you approach women with shahwa? For example, لتأتون النساء من شهوة. Is that fine and legal?
In the constitution of marriage, no, that's not sin.
Yeah, sure.
If it's outside the boundary of marriage, it is a sin.
Okay, so that's an understanding that you have, but for me, the key word is about lust, al-shahwa.
Okay.
And I think that there is, like from my understanding of it, there is a version of homosexuality that is lustful, that is kind of like taking your needs out of somebody. It's not about love and desire, but there is also a healthy form of it. And the same thing with sexuality with women. If you have a heterosexual relationship, there is a healthy form of it and there is an unhealthy form of it. Rape, for instance, is an unhealthy form of and rape can be considered shahwa, if you understand what I mean. So for me, like in combination with the two things, a morality that has never been done from before and approaching it with lust. I think you marry those two together, then it's the, like for instance in the other verses where it talks about or is it coming up next about the angels that were coming, or is that in a different phrase?
That will come later on, maybe in another surah as well.
Yeah. So for me it's not just sexual intercourse with men. And also the other question is this Quran not referring to women? Are women allowed to have shahwa for men? Or are women also not approaching men with desire lustfully and instead have to approach women with lust? That doesn't make sense.
The way I read this verse is in conjunction with other verses in the Holy Quran.
Yeah.
Because there is a penalty mentioned in the Quran about homosexual men and women.
Let's be clear. And the penalty is for fahisha, and here you are claiming that fahisha means homosexuality.
Fahisha means the dhanb al-azim,
grave sin, the big sin, the immoral sin,
the biggest.
And here we have some sort of understanding towards what the problem was. But it's not as specific. Like, for me, does it cover women? What do women feel and what do women think? Or is this book designed only towards men?
No. It's mentioned. If you let me continue, you might grasp the fact that it talks about both gays and lesbians. And there is a penalty mentioned in the Quran for both. وَالَّذَانِ يَأْتِيَانِ الْفَاحِشَ مِنْ رِجَالِكُم.
But again, that's the word fahisha, and you're saying that fahisha is only...
وَالَّتَانِ تَأْتِيَانِ الْفَاحِشَ مِنْ نِسَائِكُم. There is a punishment for gays and lesbians.
But let's be clear, if you're using in this context that fahisha means lusting after men, then...
No. Fahisha is the grave sin.
Correct.
The gravest, the worst.
I agree with you. I'm saying that this is an example of what the lust means, what some of the sins of the Sodom and Gomorrah people were means, but I don't think that homosexuality is fahisha. I mean, it can be, but it's not necessarily that, if you understand. Like, there is a subset of homosexuality that falls within fahisha, and there is a subset that does not.
If you have reached the conclusion that fahisha means homosexuality, that's good enough for me. However, apparently we will not come to a common understanding on this verse, so let's agree to disagree on this one.
Sure. But this is just for people's reference. This is the main verse that talks about lusting over men, and that people use as a reason to say that homosexuality is not lawful within Islam. Though
to be fair, I'm sorry to interrupt, Ahmed. To be fair, Islam is not the only religion that have banned homosexuality between men and women, between men and men, women and women.
Sure.
Islam is not the only religion. All religions before Islam, monotheistic religions, even atheists, people who didn't believe in God, has made a severe penalty for homosexuality.
And
Adolf Hitler, the biggest criminal in history, he wanted to kill all gays and lesbians in his country.
Couple of points. One, all monotheistic religions and non-monotheistic religions allowed slaves at some point, and then we as humanity said, no, this is wrong and we should change and we should evolve. So just because they all have it doesn't mean that it's right or wrong. And second of all, when it comes to Stalin, when it comes to Hitler, when it comes to a lot of the superpowers, they banned homosexuality because it slowed down the society's breeding rates. And if you have more people, you have more warriors, you have more soldiers, there's this mindset of more, like we need to grow more people. But yeah, just because they all were against homosexuality at one point doesn't mean that they won't change, because they were all for slavery at one point, and then that changed as well. So
okay, I think that I want to claim the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution and refrain from any statement that might incriminate me in court of law. What I decided to say and stick to it is, let's agree to disagree on this one.
Sure. Fair.
Next. وما كان جواب قومه إلا أن قالوا أخرجوهم من قريتكم إنهم أناس يتطهرون. What a disgrace. There are people who like to be clean, keep themselves clear, pure. His people said to him, get them out of your village. These are people who like to be pure, be clean. They're disgusting. They're not like us. Get them out of your people. They wanted Lot and his people, his group, to get out of the sinful city.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of, it gives you more of an understanding and gives you more color to Sodom and Gomorrah. It's not just that they were lusting. They also hated everyone who didn't lust. They also judged everyone that didn't lust, and they forced them to leave their country. Like, no, you have to behave like us or you're not one of us, because you're a Puritan. You know? Okay, next.
You can read in the verse whatever you would like to read, but the way I read it, I stick to the meaning of the words, and I read the Quran, translate the Quran, explain the Quran, understand the Quran using the Quran.
Sure.
So when I refer to the other verses, it becomes very clear to me that it's a no, it's a you sin. Now, you agree or disagree, that's your business. My business is to tell you what the Quran said and how I understand it and the proof. Why do I understand it this way and not that way? Anyway, so can we continue?
Yeah, let's continue.
فأنجيناه وأهله إلا امرأته كانت من الغابرين. We have saved him and his family except his wife. She was doomed. Tell us. She was like one of them. She believed in what they believed in.
Yeah. Which is that you have to behave like us or we'll kick you out. It's the serious immorality. Agreed.
تمام. Next.
Yeah.
وأمطرنا عليهم مطرا فانظر كيف كان عاقبة المجرمين. We have rained them, dropped rain on them, and then come and see the end of their actions.
They're criminals.
See how the criminals were punished.
Yeah. No one mourns the wicked. Next. Sorry, I'm just it's at the time that this episode is being recorded, the movie Wicked came out, and this is the word that came up. Like, nobody mourns the wicked. Just a small musical theater note. We can continue. Next.
Okay. وإلى مدين أخاهم شعيبا قال يا قوم اعبدوا الله ما لكم من إله غيره. The same instruction. My people worship God. There is no God but God. قد جاءتكم بينة من ربكم. The miracles and the verses of God has come to you from God. فأوفوا الكيل والميزان. Apparently these people were merchants. They used the scale to sell and buy. They used to cheat and scale one way or another to make their profit more.
Yeah.
Apparently this is what these people have done. And then he said, وَلَا تَبْخَسُوا النَّاسَ أَشْيَاءَهُم. In other words, I want to sell my car. And you see it, you say, I want to buy your car. How much do you want? And I said to you, like $5,000. You know that my car is worth more than $5,000. But then you say, no, it's not worth more than $2,000. That is تبخس الناس أشياءهم. You have this priced the valuable merchant I'm trying to sell you. You know it's worth more than $5,000 or euros, but you say, no, it's only worth $2,000. هذا معناها بخس الناس أشيائهم. That's what it means. It's saying to people, your goods are not as good as you say it is, because they want to take it as cheap as they could possibly do. So this is all about cheating and trading and
not giving people the value of their things.
Absolutely.
Sure.
ولا تفسدوا في الأرض بعد إصلاحها. Don't do bad things on earth after it's been doing good. It's better for you. ذلكم خير لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين. If you are believers, don't do these stupid things, stealing from people.
There's a phrase that constantly gets repeated here in these past couple of verses that we've been reading. And do not cause corruption in the earth after its reformation, after it's done well. And I think this kind of there is kind of a theme that we're seeing here time and time again, that like there's that meme of like hard times create strong people create good times create weak people create hard times. It's like a cycle, and there seems to be a cycle that whenever you're doing well, whenever you're prospering, whenever you're succeeding quite well, that is the moment where corruption is at its highest advantage. That seems to be the pattern. That having wealth, having riches, having success tends to bring the risk of corruption.
Actually, that makes sense to me. Yeah, that absolutely makes sense.
Yeah.
Next.
And that is good for you if you were true believers. Next.
ولا تقعدوا بكل صراط توعدون وتصدون عن سبيل الله من آمن به وتبغونها عوجا واذكروا إذ كنتم قليلا فكثركم الله وانظروا كيف كان عاقبة المفسدين.
You added كلمة الله after فكثركم for some reason.
Sorry, let me read it again. ولا تقعدوا بكل صراط توعدون وتصدون عن سبيل الله من آمن به وتبغونها عوجا واذكروا إذ كنتم قليلا فكثركم وانظروا كيف كان عاقبة المفسدين. The word Allah was mentioned once only.
Yeah. I mean, it was also implied فكثركم, but yeah, you just read it out loud. So
كثركم, there is ضمير اللي هو ما بعرفش كيف ترجمها بالانجليزي. ضمير يعني هو هي article. هو هي أنت أنتم. What is it in English? I can't remember.
I want to say pronoun, but I'm not sure.
Pronoun, hidden pronoun points to God. فكثركم الله. يعني who كثركم? Who made you more? Who made you numerous?
Numbers. Yeah.
Increase the number is God. Although his name is not mentioned, but that's what it implies.
Yeah. So what's this verse saying? And do not sit on every path, threatening and hindering people from the way of God, from those who believe in Him, and seeking to make it crooked, seeking to make their path crooked, or making it more difficult for them to believe. And remember that when you were few, we increased you in numbers, and see how it was the end of the corruptors. And again, we see this theme of succeeding in land, growing in prosperity, growing in wealth, and then being corrupt, and then losing And we see this rise and fall of civilizations quite over time and time again with regards to the story.
Apparently, it's the law of God. It's very rare to find filthy rich people who are keen on helping the poor and underprivileged. They all want to accumulate as much the wealth and money as they can, as if there is no end. You know, they have to collect as much as they can, without giving any poor people or help them or help other people, building schools, creating jobs for them, because they become self-centered when they are filthy rich. That's my understanding.
It seems to be the case. Yeah.
Next,
and it's the last verse for this section.
Okay. وإن كان طائفة منكم آمنوا بالذي أرسلت به. All these words are still from سيدنا مدين شعيب. This is all words of شعيب. وإذا كان طائفة منكم آمنوا بالذي أرسلت به وطائفة لم يؤمنوا فاصبروا حتى يحكم الله بيننا وهو خير الحاكمين. If there is a group of people of you has believed in what I've been sent to you from God, another people did not believe. Okay, guys, just wait, be patient until God decides between us, until He judges between us who's right and who's wrong. وهو خير الحاكمين. He's the best of the rulers.
I also, like, for me, the way that I understand this in a weird philosophical sense, that sometimes it takes people who believe and it takes people who don't believe time to figure out where they sit with all of this, and that God will judge who will be believers and who won't be believers in a way. I also understand the main meaning. The main meaning here is that just wait until Judgment Day, and that God will judge between us, and then you'll see who is right and who is wrong, because He's the best of judges. But I also feel like from a human perspective, maybe that it also means that given time, some people will believe more and some people will lose belief. I don't know. What do you think?
Sounds good. So we have reached the end of Al-Hizb, yeah?
Correct. This is the end of the section, and this concludes the end of the episode. And as usual, we always end with Sadaqallahu al-Ali al-Azim, which means trusted is the word of God, who is most highly elevated and most grand. And we thank you for going on another episode journey with us. So, say goodbye, Captain.
Goodbye to everybody, guys. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. مع السلامة. Bye-bye.
Bye.